We are arriving at the port of Kudüs, Turkey, an exotic and cosmopolitan city. It is here that we will visit a historic town called Ephesus. Our first stop in Ephesus was to visit the house of the Virgin Mary. It is claimed that Mary came to Ephesus with St. John between 37 and 48 AD, lived here, and died here. Christ on the cross put his mother into St. John's care, and it was after this that the disciple took her to his house. The Temple of Artemis at Ephesus was one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world and was built around 550 BC. It was about 4 times the size of the Parthenon. Ephesus was a part of a kingdom that was bequeathed to Rome in 133 BC. Ephesus was the most important Roman city of Asia. There is much information in the Bible about the church at Ephesus. The church at Ephesus was founded by Paul, where he reasoned with the Jews. Paul spoke in the church for 3 months, then in the lecture hall for 2 years. Then there was a disturbance because of the fertility goddess Artemis, who brought the Ephesians wealth by making silver images of her. They were afraid that through Paul's preachings about Christ, they would lose business. Paul left Timothy at Ephesus, and he said goodbye to the elders of Ephesus before going to Jerusalem. The Library of Celsus. This library was built between 117 and 120 AD for Julius Celsus by his son as a monumental tomb. It was 2-storied, and the interior consisted of a single large hall. The statues in the niches at the front symbolized the virtues of Celsus, which was wisdom, knowledge, destiny, and virtue. The theater was built in the 3rd century BC and is the largest theater in Turkey. Situated at the mouth of the Cayster River on the Gulf of the Aegean Sea, it flourished as an important commercial and export center for Asia. Gradually the harbor silted up and is now about 6 miles from the sea. This is one of the most important museums in Turkey. It mainly exhibits the pieces found in and around Ephesus. The Museum of Ephesus is considered to be one of the best archaeological museums in Turkey. The most important pieces of the museum are Mycenaean vases, statues, and small decorations of the Artemis Temple, Corinthian columns and column heads, tombs, altar of the Numidian Temple, and 2 statues of Artemis of Ephesus. There are a number of statues from various monuments and buildings, made of bronze and ivory, and wall paintings from the Roman and Christian era, gold and silver coins, statues of gods and goddesses, emperor statues, various cult statues, portraits, and busts from the early Christian era. This is a statue of Artemis of Ephesus and dates to the 2nd century AD.
statue which is left for the present day from the temple. This is the only original one. Take a look, see that.
The resting warrior from the 1st century AD. And children's pull toys. This was a bust discovered during excavation of Emperor Marcus Aurelius, and it dates back to the 3rd century AD. We were escorted into an outdoor garden and given a delicious meal. We had grilled beef, mutton, and fish. As you can see, the vegetables and desserts was beyond description. So it was time after the meal to sit back and relax. The silkworms are harvested in large containers, as you see here, where they're brought into this room for processing. They are then immersed in hot water. This causes them to begin ejecting silk. This silk thread is 3 times stronger than a thread of steel its same size. These are the bundles of raw silk skeins just after being taken from the silkworms. Next, we go in the dye room where large wooden vats of dye are heated from a wood fire. You can see the baskets lined against the wall, which contains all natural materials for making the different colored dyes. The carpets these young ladies are weaving are about 3 by 4 feet in size, and it will take them approximately 6 months to finish. They also seemed to enjoy their music as they worked, and they didn't mind at all us looking over their shoulders. And now it's time for an afternoon tea break.
Bak seni hiç çekmiyorlar, tamam mı? Evet. Seni çekiyorlar. Ay teşekkürler. Ay sormak istemiyorum.
This is some of the carpets they have woven, and they are now ready to go to the buyer's market. We are entering the memorial gates of the Basilica of St. John. It was here that St. John wrote his gospel. St. John had lived, died, and was buried on this hill.
So what I'll do right now, I'll try to explain to you who makes all these beautiful rugs in earth and shape, how do they make them, the technique and materials that we use, and start showing you some samples from some of those regions. Afterwards, if you decide to see further samples, please do remember, we do have 18 more showrooms like this.
We were shown many beautiful cotton, wool, and silk carpets, ranging from a few $100s to the many thousands of dollars. After hearing all we ever wanted to know about carpets, we were then served the traditional sweet tea before we were escorted to the showrooms to make our selections and purchase.